Welcome to Trading Lounge, and I'm back on board now after sort of running Trading Lounge at sort of half steam through January. It's a little bit of time off, so I will need today and tomorrow to update this particular all these charts on this particular platform here, so just bear with me for a few days until we tune in. But today I just wanted to have a look at the short term here, and also the bigger picture as well, because we've had that sort of parabolic move to the upside in the US market. So just on the hourly chart here, if you're long at the moment, then we can expect a correction within if I just bring this into space here a little bit, we're looking at 2900. That would be our target point here, and the correction space within that would be expected as per normal would be the top of group 1, which should be 10, 20 and 30 here, and then also on the lower end of that here within group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80. So we can expect a correction within this space here, and it would be logical to trade to this number here and exit. Now moving up through here, you can move a stop. You could put a stop pretty much this high here, just in there at 28.56. But we can keep it just out of the way in case any spikes. Obviously this was a setup on this level here, the 2800. We can go over to this level and take it here. There will be another little entry here if that interests anybody as well, but that entry that entry in here will be in group 2, so you can expect group 2 to have some type of correction in it. But the key for this to enter long will be well, of course, you can do it on a pullback, and that would be quite safe in this case, because I can see from wave 4 here going up to this wave 5 here, the structure is not completed. We're more than halfway up, so we've got 1 and 2, and we're in the third wave going up here, so there'll be a fourth wave and a fifth wave here. So buying a pullback would be fine. Also, after the correction occurs in this space here, looking for support on 72 here. You can adjust that a little bit in here for just there. So looking for a nice tested support on 72 for an entry, and then also adding on to 80 here, taking part profit at 90 and the rest of it at 900 here is the normal way to go here. So there is a little bit of upside to be had here. Will it go past the 29? I don't know, it just depends on how it extends, but of course 10, 20 and 30 here, these filters here are always sort of little brick walls here that will slow it down and create that correction in this space here. So that's the trade there. For the bigger picture, I just want to go to the weekly and talk about a few points, not everything, but just a few points. And we're still looking, our primary counters, we're still looking for the top of this third wave here of intermediate degree here, and within that here we're looking for 5 waves up from wave 2 here to wave 3 here, and the current count that we have here is wave 1 and 2 here, and then wave 3 and 4 here, and then looking up for 5 waves in a nutshell to this point in here as such here. So we're still a long way from the 3,000 here for the S&P, but that's where we'll be pulled up to as such. And I can see that, you know, all trends have a beginning, a middle and an end, and the beginning is the building process here, and then the middle, and then the ending process in around these numbers here. And the ending process is normally the arrival, the reaction in 3 waves, and then the first high above the level, and then the correction from that point. So and it's normally the number 3, this 3 here, this 3 here, this 3 here. These are the ones that are always close to the level here. So in fact there would be this would be a wave 3 here, This would be a wave 4 here and a wave 5 here of a larger wave 3 here. So a bit like over here as an example. So this would be a wave 3 top here, and then a correction here as wave 4, and then 5 waves above here. It's not a very nice looking 5 waves here, but that's sort of it. So that pattern here is pretty much this pattern here as well. So that's what we'll be expecting there. What I also wanted to talk about today, this, not all markets bottom out the same and top the same or at the same time in a sense. Some do and some don't, and some markets work with other markets for a period of time, and then they don't work with that market for a period of time, and they'll come back in and so on. So this particular low here I find sort of interesting, and I'm just sort of going back over this whole trend to the upside here over the last few days, and we've always taken the low off this little guy just here, this one coming down. There's 2 lows here, so I've taken off this one here, and we've counted this. We've got 5 waves coming up here for this here as wave 1 and wave 2, and that's fine. In some cases, because in some cases that little move up going up through here, that's in 3 waves, and this one is in 5 waves here in this one. But when I look at some of the other markets around the world, this little move here can be 5 waves up here and then 3 waves back. Not a lot of them, but some of the indices, and one of the indices in that case is the Amex major market index, which is a weighted index of the top 20 industrial stocks. So in that particular case, if I can just bring this chart up, I've also put this chart here in the equity section under the US equity section for stocks, so you can go and then have a look at that. But this little move down the bottom through here, I just thought it was kind of interesting because this little move up through here can be counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1 and back for wave 2, which would leave 5 waves up through to here as wave 3, and then wave 4 and then wave 5 coming into play here. So it's possible in this case, and some of the other indice cases as well, is that this here makes wave 1 here and wave 2 here, because on the SP 500 we've got it like this here basically, and then we've got this next wave 1 sitting here and wave 2 sitting here, but there is a possibility to have it like this here, and it does change the count somewhat, and I kind of like it actually. I like it because it plays out better. It's got a better look and feel about it. I'm sorry I have to squash this up so much, but I've got to fit it in the frame. But it kind of, let's get this back into play here. Oops-a-daisy. So I'd leave wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 here, and then I've got sort of all of this here, which, is a bit hard to get your head around. I understand that, but I've gone over this in a fair bit of detail, which would leave the next move up through to here as a wave 3, then a wave 4 and a wave 5. So it actually gives us an extra wave in the whole structure that we need to navigate if this is correct. I need to sort of take a look at this a little bit further with other markets, the Dow Jones Transports and so on, and the Dow Jones Global Index and a few other things. So I'm going to slowly do a little bit of work with all of that. And the reason I like this is because it's just the count coming up here, the way that I've counted is just got a better look and feel. It feels right, it feels right. It feels right with all of this particular structure in here. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of in the background sort of look at this a little bit further and probably bring it into the SP 500 and some of the other markets as a bit of as a bit of a secondary count along the way. And we'll look at it, we'll play it out. But it's nice to have alternative counts, because if something doesn't pan out the way it is, instead of trying to force it to fit, we can open up another door and walk through that comfortably. The markets, the market itself is the boss, and we need to take orders from that. And to take those orders, we need to listen to all the subtle details, and that's our job. So so we'll just open this one up a little bit further within all of this. But like I mentioned, this chart here, you can take a closer look at it in the equity section of the US tabs. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that at the moment. We can have just a quick look at, I was looking at Amazon as well here. A lot of the tech stocks are sort of topping out a little bit as well. So this particular picture here would Amazon and Google, they're kind of in the same patterns basically. So what we're looking for those guys is this here in a bit of a nutshell. So we'll be looking at 1500 here, 1500, which is a medium level. So we're definitely going to see some sort of correction at this point here, but I still think that we've got further to go here. So from this wave forward, we've got it very clear as 1 and 2 here, and well, in this case from here 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then we're looking for this extension in wave 5 here, which is 1 and 2, and as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we're just sort of finishing at the top in here, which will bring us at the 1400 here. So it will play out there on this trend line in the 1400 here. We'll see some sort of correction here, probably midweek or something, and then another move up here, which will take us probably the same time as wave 1 took us here. So we've got a wee while here for this to move up here. So we're still bullish. There is opportunity for pullback to buy back in and to exit up at the 1500 here. And the other tech stocks, the Franks, won't be far behind in wave count with this as well. And this will fold in closely to the SP 500 as well, the Nasdaq and the S&P. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, look, I'm back on board and for trade checks and those sorts of things. So yeah, alrighty, all the best for 2018. Cheers.